oh, it's live.
I accidentally pressed return when I was trying to press shift, and so it's not named the right thing.
Oh, I think I can edit it. I have a fan, and it's like wherever I point it, everything's like, oh,
Yeah.
it's live.
Yeah, it just says, let me turn this off.
Yeah, I was gonna say everybody can. Oh no, come on. Let's move it, slow internet. Let's move it. Sorry guys, if anybody's watching.
I know, I hate the fact that like it lags, and so I don't realize that then I'm like live on the internet. I'm just like, oh, we're still talking and blah blah blah.
Okay, I'm editing the title right now.
Okay. This is wild. I like just clicked enter and accidentally went live, and there's already 10 people here. And Carly is here. Are you done doing your thing? Shaina crashing?
Yeah, sorry. I'm trying to edit the... Hold on.
Here it says that it's edited.
I know. I was trying to get onto it. My laptop's just being slow. Sorry.
No.
Oh my God, I'm so mad. Okay, come on. Let me just get this.
It's edited.
I know, I was. Oh, sorry. Okay, here are the. Okay. Whoa, now my computer's frozen. Hello, everyone. Sorry about that ridiculous. Oh, sorry about that ridiculous, terrible intro and us.
Yeah, this was really hard to do over Zoom, but now we're just going to get into the flow of things. And today we are doing a live Drag Me show. If you don't know, Drag Me is a service that we provide on our website, partytrickastrology.com/shop. It is the least informational and most cheeky reading. We always get questions of how can I get dragged live? How can I get dragged live? And it's partytrickastrology.com/shop. Maybe you'll listen this time if I sing it. Anyway, here today we are dragging Carly, Matthias, and Haley. Starting with Carly. Hello, Carly. Thank you so much for your patience as you receive this reading, because we have been on a bit of a delay and now we are caught up. That's a little ahead. That's too much information for everyone to know. You don't care. You just want to see the drag me's. Okay, Carly, holy freaking Aries.
I was gonna say, very, it makes sense as to why you found our channel. I see the similar energies going on because you got that opposition. Yeah, holy Aries. We knew somebody that was a 7th house in Aries, and they can be like very, 7th house sun in Aries, and they can be very like aggressively friendly, like to the point where like I went to her home and I was like, I just kind of want to be left alone at this point. Like, I don't need anything. I'm okay. Or like, they'll just like pose things to be like, this is for everybody else. But in reality, it's like secretly for them. I've noticed that with Aries suns in the 7th house a lot, actually. They're constantly like very upset that they're not getting attention as like a 7th house sun is. But with the Aries, they like always make sure they get it though as well. It's very interesting.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see Aries and Libra energy together, because there is so much of this, like, how do I describe it? Just like this fast energy and this instantaneous energy. And I feel like when you have Aries stuff in the 7th house with a Libra rising, you're just constantly trying to hone yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it becomes like such a funny balancing game to see in a person, of just like, you can tell that they have so many like opinions, or they just know what they want to do. They know what they just know everything. They feel it in the moment and they want to act, and then they're rising and their 7th house positions are like, hold on.
Is this okay?
just, but I want to, but everybody else. And it's sometimes really difficult. Like sometimes I just want to shake these people and be like, just say what you want. I can handle it. I know that you have something that you want to say or do, and you can say it. You can come out with it. I won't be hurt, because sometimes that is what the Libra rising is doing. Like, I don't want to hurt everyone. I just want everyone to be okay. Blah, 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 blah. But you have so much in you that is pointing you towards being a self-sufficient, self-made, able to take care of yourself and only focus on yourself kind of energy. And sometimes I just want you to actually do that.
I'm like, she might be able to hear. I'm literally quarantined with somebody who's also a Libra rising Aries moon. And we were like, and it's funny to watch her like get ready because she feels like obligated to do makeup, and she wants to, but she doesn't, but she hates it. So she'll like do it really aggressively, really fast, and be like super mad the whole time she's doing makeup. And she's like, and then like the second she's like finished, I like just yesterday she was like done, and like I went back and there was like just all this black from her makeup under her eyes because she just rubs it because she forgets, which is so like Libra sun Aries moon vibe of just being like, gotta put it on, but then like, what makeup, huh? I don't.
Because here's the tea about 7th house suns and Libra risings, and to have them both together, you feel like you need to do what everyone else is doing.
Yeah.
You feel like if you have a friend, you need to be just like that friend.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not, I keep on wanting to say like, that's not a bad thing. You're still a banana, but this is a drag me. So that's the truth. Especially like I was just saying to Shaina, like, this person's so young, and Shayna's like, they're 18. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I was like, they're literally an adult.
They were born in 2002. That's like yesterday. But especially when you're younger and you have this kind of like 7th house plus Libra rising. Yeah, I see this time and time again with 7th house people and with Libra risings. It's just like, I have a friend, I need to be exactly like that friend.
You just feel obligated, or like you'll find that friend and be like, I need to be exactly like I want to be. And yeah, like people with like super strong personalities because it's that Aries in there.
Yeah, and I think that in general, 7th house people and Libra risings try to pick people with very strong personalities because they're like, they can identify it. Mm-hmm. Like, I get this person's personality. For sure. I can copy it. Yeah. Like, if this person is branded, I know how to do that brand.
For me, it was like, if this person has a big personality, it was like, then I therefore am more allowed to have a big personality too.
Yeah, that too.
You know what I mean? It's like that, you feel like the other person gives you the leeway, even though that's not true. So you feel like you need to, you know.
And also, like with your sun in the 7th house, you're looking, and it being in Aries, you're looking for people with that big personality because you pretty much just want permission to be yourself.
Yeah.
And
this is a drag.
You have a big personality.
Something I was gonna drag is Pluto in the 3rd house, because the person that I'm quarantined with that has your chart ourselves Pluto in the 3rd house, and she's a Libra rising, and I tell her this all the time because when I first months ago I was like, Greta, do you lie? And she was like, oh, I just told your name, whatever, and it's obvious. And she was like, no, I don't. And then all throughout this time I'm like, she doesn't realize when she's lying, because to her it's not lying, it's like being a Libra rising, it's like being nice and trying to like not say what she wants, not be rude, not be this or that. But I'm like, in reality, that just winds up to be lying. Like, you guys don't see it, you know, because your purpose isn't to lie, isn't to deceive. But that's like what winds up happening, you know?
And there's also that thing of like, why would you admit that you're lying? That would keep you from being the perfect person.
That's true.
That you're trying to be.
And it's like, it's white lies.
Yeah, 100%. Libra rising is the epitome of white lies. In fact, I was in yoga teacher training with a Libra rising, and one of the principles of yoga, I'm not a very good yoga teacher. I can't remember if it's a yama or a niyama. I think one of the niyamas is, or maybe it's a yeah, I don't know. One of the principles of yoga is satya, which is truth. And so our teacher was saying, like, truth is really important, truth no matter what, just always telling the truth. And the Libra rising like raises their hand and she's like, well, what if someone asks you if their dress is ugly and it is ugly? Would you tell the truth? And then the yoga teacher got into this whole thing of like, well, blah, 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 blah. And that's why it's so important to tell the truth. And you could just see that it didn't let, she was like, I don't know about this, Yama.
That's funny.
So just to say that like Libra risings are the epitome of white lies.
Oh my gosh, also Mercury in Aries. I was just roasting my friend's Aries Mercury because she's like no fire in the rest of her chart, but she has an Aries Mercury. And let me read like the meme I sent her. It was like, a text from your fire sign friend, you could receive at any moment. And it was a text and it was like, I'm about to cause a scene, text you later. And I've literally gotten those kind of text messages from her. She's like, I think I'm going to start some shit tonight. I think I'm going to say this. I think I'm going to text you later. And that's such like a Mercury and Aries thing. And just like an Aries thing in general, because you're so Aries, it's just to start shit. It's just to say shit. It's just, now you've it in your 7th house. So it's like still a little diluted, but it's going to be done instead of like that straightforward, like, outright way. It's going to probably be done in some like backhanded through a bunch of people, like almost through a game of telephone kind of way, you know?
Yeah, I have a Mercury in Capricorn and my boyfriend has a Mercury in Aries and they square. And it's been something that I've been like thinking about a lot since the beginning of our relationship because I'm like, I feel like they don't square that much. Like I'm direct and straightforward. He's direct and straightforward in the way that we speak. I like that about the way that we communicate.
I have a square with my friend too, and it's like I feel the same way in a certain aspect.
But I've realized what it is that annoys me the most about his communication that is so Aries versus Capricorn, and it is the way that Aries and Capricorn are different, is that he starts saying something and forgets what he's saying. I'm like, finish your thought. But he's on to the next thought.
Yeah.
Please, what were you just saying? Just tell me the end of that sentence. And he's like, I don't know, I forgot. And he's on to the next. I'm like, no, follow through. What was your thought? And he's like, I don't know, I've just forgotten. Let's move on to the next. And that is so annoying about Mercury and Aries.
That's so funny. Yeah, Mercury and Aries are ridiculous speakers sometimes because they just spew shit. You don't know what the fuck's going on. Also, it's like they they can mumble. Like it can be hard to understand them because they're talking so fast that they like can't get all the words and syllables out. And oh my god, my friend that's Mercury and Aries like doesn't spell check and her text messages are like unreadable.
Especially with it in the 7th house, there can be that like mumbling thing because there's this kind of contrast of energies of like, you want to say it and you want to be like really blunt about it and just say it, but you don't want to like interrupt.
Yeah.
Or say it, make what you're saying like be a disruptance to this, that, or the other. So it's like, What did you say, Carly? Oh, just
oh no. Yeah, if it's something you don't want to say, you're scared. Let's see here. Do you have any aspects to roast? I don't know. Oh, Mars square Uranus is really funny. It's just like a funny aspect to watch. Me and Nina have Mars trine Uranus, and so like that just gets like random bursts of like energy, want, will to do things, right? But it's like it's still flowing as random as it is. It still has like what?
Sort of like a cohesiveness, sort of like a purpose.
Yeah, like it goes like this and it's like, it goes you know, but I've observed people with Mars square Uranus and they are the weirdest. Like the way that they act is so weird, which makes sense because it's square Uranus, but it's like they get these random strong bursts and then completely lose it and then act as though like nothing's changed, like nothing ever happened, dropping out of nowhere, like can be like really excited and then gone the next second. And it's just so funny to witness the extreme like quickness that they just lose any energy that they once had too much of.
Yeah. You have an interception. Those are pretty serious things, but you can kind of read somewhat like to
She
take.
does?
Huh?
I don't think so.
Do we have the same time? Or maybe Astro theme and
6:05?
Sorry?
6:05?
Oh, here it says 6 o'clock, so maybe you don't.
Oh, is it 6 o'clock or 6:05? Well, you'll answer that because it is really close.
Oh, it is 6:05. My bad.
Okay. Is there anything you'd like us to drag, by the way?
Yeah, specifically.
Let's see. We haven't touched on your moon. Moon, 0 degrees, Aries, cusping Pisces in the 6th house. You've got a lot of like not happy 6th house energy because you've got your Lilith and Pisces in there, your moon at 0 degrees in Aries, 6th house and Pisces. Like that's a lot of like doesn't want, like your chart. Okay. When you most of the time, if like people have a bunch of stuff in their 6th house, you're like, you're a 6th house person, You're not. You're like an anti-6th house person. Like that's what you live by, is like how against it you are. My roommate has Lilith in the 6th house, and it took me a long time to figure it out, but it really is just like a major rejection of anything 6th house. And it's like, because your moon is in there, you feel like you feel like you need to do this, and you're constantly trying, and people are constantly like pushing you to do this stuff, like to do paperwork or to clean your room, but like you will do anything to escape it. Or you probably might just be a person who's like, I live better when my room is messy. Like I can find things. My roommate was like, I can only find things when they're all strewn out over my floor, because then I can see them. If they're in my drawer, I'm never going to see them. And that's like, especially with that Aries moon, when you're getting ready, you're like, I need to see all my clothes on the floor to know what I have. I don't have time to look through things. I don't want to do that.
It's really interesting to have this whole combination of your 6th house is ruled by Pisces, and then you have Lilith in there, and then you have your moon in Aries in there. Because when you think of Lilith, Lilith is control. So a lot of times it doesn't like being told what to do, which is why when the status quo is like, pick up your room and like be clean and do all this paperwork, Lilith will inherently be like, no, I don't want to do that. I want to be the person who calls the shots. You can't control me, this, that, or the other. And so we'll kind of be like counterculture in that way. But then at the same time, and that's supported by your 6th house being rolled by Pisces, being like, oh, what is routine and blah blah blah, but then your moon is in there. So what I find of like 6th house energy that is so disrupted and like negative, but then having a personal planet like the moon in there, it's like you would be so much happier if you gave yourself a semblance of routine, if you like took care of yourself just a little bit more. But there is so much against you being able to do that, and we say this constantly. Libra rising puts Pisces in the 6th house, and that's just like, why be put together when you could look put together?
Mm-hmm. Also, Libra risings is like, I don't have, like, they're scattered a bit. They're like, I don't have the time or energy or mental space to figure this out, to do this, to do anything but look the part, you know? It's like...
I had a Libra rising roommate, and she had a trick when we would go out, so that we were so opposite in this way. If we're going to go out, I've probably not been wearing makeup the whole day. So I'll put on makeup, I'll wash my hair, I'll like get my hair ready, because that's what I care about the most. And, or no, what I mean is like, my hair is probably already done and my makeup isn't. So I'll do my makeup and I'll touch up my hair. But she's like the opposite. She's like, I haven't washed my hair in 17 days. But my makeup is done from this morning and I don't want to redo it. So she would go into the shower and only wash her hair and not get her face wet to not mess up her makeup.
Yeah, I knew a Libra rising in high school that would sleep in her makeup multiple nights, because it's like, it still looks good, I just don't move when I sleep. Like, they don't give a shit about the hygiene of it. They're literally just about the looks of it. It's so gross.
It's so bizarre. And that's some tea on Libra risings. If you're just like, oh, Libra risings are always so put together and always Pisces is in their sixth house. It's not like that. And the way that they feed themselves too. They eat like 3-year-olds, or they're like, yeah, I put chicken in a crock pot and I call it a day. And I'm like, where's your fiber?
Oh my gosh. Also, like also the girl that has the similar combination, like she won't eat unless you are eating with her, like unless you tell her to, like you have to make her eat. And we're constantly like, Greta, have you had anything to eat? And she's like, yes. And we're like, and
no.
she's like, I've had bread. And we're like,
another thing is like Libra risings don't want you to worry about them. And especially with that Aries energy in the 7th house, it's like your sense of self is that you are self-sufficient and that you can take care of yourself. But in the 7th house, that's not necessarily true all the time. So you don't want to admit that you need other people to promote you to do basic human things, and you don't want other people to worry when you say to them that you haven't eaten in 3 days.
Yeah. And that has to do with that 3rd house Pluto, like it's not lying, because you're like, it's not lying to you, but it technically is, you know.
Yeah, crazy stuff.
Let's see here.
Because there's already like that Libra rising prone to white lies, and the fact that lots of people with Libra risings in the years surrounding our age range have Pluto in the 3rd house, it just intensifies that a lot.
Let's see. Aquarius 5th house, Uranus 5th house, Neptune 5th house. I can find Libra risings, and especially I think with the combination of your 5th house, to like so many things, like too many things. And I think with Uranus in the 5th house too, I've noticed this in like celebrities charts. Their style of like weird is like, I think I've roasted this before. It's so easily categorized, if that makes sense. Like they'll only do things that are weird within the limits of that like Libra rising, Uranus air of like what categories are already there. And like I really hated somebody with Uranus in the 5th house is Tyler, the Creator. Everybody's like, oh, his stuff is so innovative. He always comes up with something new. And I'm like, he's literally just like always a few months behind the trends. And plus like his like most recent like Igor thing resembled so many other people and was so not as creative as I just didn't see it. I don't see what people see in him personally. And I think it's that like Uranus in the 5th where people see all these innovative new changes and he's constantly like rediscovering himself and changing. But to me, he's just like, oh, it used to be cool. It used to be cool to say it's dumb to be gay. Now it's cool to be gay. Like that's how he switched with the times, you know? I don't know.
Yeah, there's this big energy of like Libra rising, but then there's Aquarius in the 5th house of like, I'm the normal, I'm the girl next door, but guess what? I'm just a weirdo.
Yeah, it's that like, what is that like? Just quirky girl things.
I'm such a dork. I like the stuff that other people don't like. It's crazy.
But yeah, okay, so that's your Drag Me, Carly. So thank you so much for supporting us, and we hope you enjoyed this and we dragged you well. So
and because you bought your reading before social distancing was a thing, so thank you for being so flexible with having us do this on Zoom and all that stuff. So thank you just so much for your patience, for your purchase, for your support, and for your flexibility.
Yes, thank you so much.
7th house sun, Libra rising, being super flexible.
True.
And we hope that you enjoyed your reading.
Yes. So I'm pretty sure our next person is here. Matthias, he said hi earlier.
Yes, he said hi earlier. We still have 2 minutes before your reading, so let us get a breather so that we don't mix the energies. Let us a 2-minute breather.
I would like to shout out my shirt. Come on. It's so cute. How's everybody's time doing? I don't know.
Yeah, Matthias, just make yourself known one more time. I know there's a lag, so probably by the time that you're seeing us saying this, you've already said hi. Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
We have 1 more minute, Shaina.
Oh, sorry.
Seconds.
We'll just, oh my gosh. This is random, but I've been testing my roommate with trying to guess what time it is when he's like, has no idea what time it is. And he's been getting it to the minute. It's insane. Like multiple times, like 3 times in a row. We did it over the course of like 24 hours, and he got it to the minute all 3 times. And he always gets like insanely close. And I don't even know what fucking hour it is. Like, how does he have any kind of time reference right now?
Okay, now we can start. It's still
1:24, Nina.
You're right. I don't know.
We need to wait till 1:25. There's still probably a few seconds. Wait, let me charge my laptop. We're doing 3 drags in total today. When we do shows, we try to do it 3. Sometimes it doesn't work. This might be the first time we're doing like 3 back-to-back all live, because sometimes it's like live, private, live.
No, I don't think maybe it is the first time.
For all 3. No, I think we did all 3 before. Yeah, we have.
Yeah. Typically we have 1 in the mix that's private. Well, now it's 1:25, so let's get
start.
to it. Matthias is a stan, I would say, of our channel, of our readings. So first of all, thank you so much for your support over the past year. I think we have said lots of nice things about you, as well as soul-crushing insights, and today is not about that. Today is shallow shit.
Okay, first thing I want to drag is that combo of the Leo rising with the Aries midheaven. That just seems overwhelming to me. I just feel like you're always on, like it's not like you have like water rising, so there's a part of you that's shy, or like water midheaven, so you come across super blah blah blah, but like there's no toning you down. And literally, like, your first house planets, well, I think your second house sun, what is it? It's technically in the second house, right? Yeah, it's like just perfectly cusping. But having Venus and the sun in there doesn't really tone it down too much either. So I feel like, especially because you're a little bit older, so that's why we reread your progress chart a lot. But I feel like as a kid, you were so much to handle. Like, you were that kid that's like, look at me, mom, look at me, I did this, and like constantly needing attention and constantly being so loud. I would just like I need to shut you up if I was your mom. No, I'd be like, sit and let me put this pillow over your face until you're quiet.
Like, I don't know if you've ever watched America's Next Top Model, but Tyra Banks is always like, is emphasizing like, she has personality. Oh yeah, she is full of personality. I love her personality. And I hear this all the time of like guys being like, what's the most important thing about a girl? Personality. And it's just like, what is personality? It's not like, I want a girl who has a personality that's like this. It's just like, personality is the most important thing. And I feel like you operate on a very similar level. And Tyra Banks also has an Aries midheaven, but she doesn't have that Leo rising that you have. And Venus in the first house, especially because like the drag on Venus in the first house is that it's like a shallow kind of expression of a human being that's sort of just like, I'm so nice and pretty and breathable and like everyone can like me. So I feel like your vibe as a person is just like, I have personality. This is my personality. And you're not as concerned with like communicating the substance of yourself.
Yeah.
At least
you think like personality equals loud?
Yeah, personality equals loud, or just like brand yourself as someone who's just, I'm crazy. I'm just all over the place. I'm so likable and like charismatic and blah blah blah. But it's like, and that's Tyra Banks has an Aries midheaven, and she is just like blah, 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 make it fashion, crazy.
She's also like she's a Cancer rising, but with her Aries midheaven, it makes her like super melodramatic too.
Yeah.
Like everything's a big deal. And I feel like that's how you might display that kind of stuff. Like at work, you know, everything that you do, everything that you get, like you're that person that's like gets a participation award and you're like, I got a participation award.
Oh yeah.
And like everybody's like, everybody got one, and you're like, but I got a person. What did I just say? A
participation award.
Participation award. Thank you.
I also want to do the drag on Leo risings that I feel as an Aquarius. Because with Aquarius in your 7th house, you have this kind of attitude towards people sometimes. This is like an assumption drag. Because we know you quite well, but we don't know you like in your life. But what I always find with Leo risings, when I come into their life, they see me and they're like, perfect, someone who will exist for me.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect. Someone that I can just take all of their water bearing energy. Perfect. This is like my sidekick, the person that will.
Yeah, and I think it's because if you see everybody else as an Aquarius, you see everybody else as like a weirdo or possibly like less than, or possibly like literally just like like you see humanity as humanity to serve you, you know, like it's you versus everybody else. And so I think like when you see somebody like that falls into your 7th house, you're going to automatically see like them as one of those people. But I think that can also create like a snobbish attitude towards Leo risings as well, because they just can have this like you don't matter as much to than me kind of attitude. And again, this is all assumption based on your Leo rising, but
because also wherever you have Leo is like a second sun. So sun in the 1st house is like the opposite, like 1st house energy is the opposite of my energy, which is 7th house energy. And I just get so taken aback by people who don't, this is so weird because the way that I think is not the proper way to think necessarily, but like I get so taken aback by people who aren't like overly apologetic for like things, or like overly thankful, and who are just like, yeah, you're supposed to do this for me, who
right.
are, oh, thank you so much for helping me move, I'm so appreciative of this, or blah, 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 or like, I'm so sorry that I'm inconveniencing you by you having to drive me this place, or blah, blah, blah. And people with that like 1st house energy or like Leo rising are just like, yeah, totally.
Duh, like that's what you're gonna do.
You're gonna drive me around, you're gonna help me move, and this is what you're gonna do. This is what you exist for.
Yeah, what other reason?
Yeah, and so that's super funny to me.
Going back, yeah, so your Uranus is in your 4th house and it's squaring your sun. So to me, this speaks to you seeing everybody else as weirdos and like they don't fit in unless them, but then you have like a super inferiority complex because you are also a weirdo and you secretly don't fit in as much as you want to, and you're scared that everybody's going to find that out, and yet you judge everybody for not fitting in, and yet you have trouble fitting in yourself with that sun square Uranus.
Which is where that like character versus personality thing comes in, because character is much more like, well, it's sun, it's 4th house, it's who you are, and then personality is that 1st house 10th house type of thing. So you're like, well, I'm not this insecure child who was like bullied and doesn't have a handle on my emotions. I am this loud, crazy life of the party. Everyone likes me. I'm so likable. Blah, 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 blah. Tribal tattoo.
That is like super Leo rising because Sagittarius is in their 5th house too.
Mm-hmm.
That's, yeah. Let's see here. What else do we have? You. No. Moon in Sagittarius conjunct Neptune in the 5th house, I feel like gives you good luck. And I'm not saying that your whole life is great and there's nothing bad going on, right? But I'm saying with this one thing, it gives you good luck that sometimes I feel like you don't deserve, or sometimes you might even like manipulate the situation in your in your like emotionally manipulate the situation, like Neptune can do that, to view something as though something different happened. Like I feel like you're somebody's broken up with you before and you've been like, I broke up with them, but it was not that case at all, but that's what you like told everybody and that's what you like believe now, you know, like when you believe the lie that you've turned around. I feel like that's something. And plus, like, Sagittarius in the 5th house is such a lighthearted placement, and to put Neptune, I feel like you're also very disillusioned by like that adds an extra pump, all of those of like that everything's gonna be okay thing that Sagittarius has, which can be very, very, that it works in their favor for most of the time, and I think it's a great mentality. But with yours being so amplified and you having a pretty well aspected moon, it can make it so that like you just aren't prepared. You just don't prepare yourself for things, and like when things do come your way, you're like, I don't understand how this could happen. And then like in the future, if somebody's like, you should prepare, you're like, how dare you think negatively that this will turn out wrong again? And it's like, you just need to think ahead. That's my Capricorn saying that, obviously. It's a very biased drag.
Because there's two ways to think everything is fine or everything will turn out okay.
Yeah.
Like me and my friend were in very similar situations, very stressful situations at the same point in our lives, and they were the same thing. And we were confiding in each other, like, well, how are we going to get through this? How are we going to get through this? And she turned to me and she's like, you just got to pretend like it's not happening.
That's what you do. You pretend like it's not happening. You aren't like, it's going to be okay. And then you still go on as you do, but you have a positive attitude about it. It's like, just pretend. Yeah,
it's like, just pretend like it's not happening. I'm like, but I'm a Sagittarius moon, and I'm like, well, everything is going to be okay. I trust that the universe, that God, that whatever is going to give the answer to me, but I need to do my part to, you know, make sure that I'm not in this situation forever. And she's like, no. I think that you deserve to just take a break and not think about it for the next foreseeable future.
And this person has Neptune in the 1st, right? Am I thinking that we're talking about the same person?
I don't know who you...
Oh, do I not know them?
But case in point, this person, like, I'm not sure, but I'm quite sure has Neptune square moon.
Well, there's somebody else that we know that I could see them being this way that has a Sagittarius moon with heavy Neptune influences. And so I think that that's like a combination of that as well.
Yeah, so I know what person that you're talking about, but yeah. That I can recall.
What else do we have here? Oh, is there anything you specifically like us to drag or focus on?
There's also the fact that your Jupiter is intercepted. So we've discussed this a lot with you, but like you were lacking definitely this everything is going to turn out okay mentality. You felt more like a victim in your life, and that no one is really watching over you. So then the moon, or sorry, Neptune, what's it doing to your moon?
It's conjunct, it's like a super tight.
Neptune conjunct your moon is just like, well, whatever. Just ignore everything and wallow away. Wallow. That is the answer. And also, to be honest, Neptune conjunct the moon puts you even more in a victim mentality of like, whose fault is it? Not mine. Why am I feeling this way? Responsibility, what are those? I am just sad, wallow, and whatever I feel is the right thing to feel. There's no any other factors in the situation, like other people's emotions, how other people feel, to take into account. Especially with Mars and Scorpio, there's that real big vindication. Of course, it is intercepted, so there's also like, I am not allowed to express myself at all. The squares is what you said you'd like to be dragged on.
I really quickly want to drag something about being a Virgo sun, or just having Virgo energy is their ability to criticize, but then, and this isn't true with everybody, blah, 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 but they have this major ability to criticize and not being able to take criticism to a certain extent because of the fact that they're so hard on everybody else. They're so hard on themselves. So when somebody else is criticizing them and they're right, their like world is shattered, and like they don't know how to take it, and they don't know what to do other than like basically like make themselves feel so much pain because of how much like not pain but like be so angry at themselves. And like Virgos can hate themselves, I feel like no other sign in a way, because it's so the reasons that they find are so dumb. It's like, and the things that they obsess over are so small. Like overall, Virgos are going to make sure that they have some things together, they got something situated or whatever it is, but like they'll obsess over like, yes, but if I don't know, I'm trying to think, but I am 2 pounds overweight, I'm so fat, this is the worst thing in the world, nobody will want to hire me, nobody will want to look at me, my resume is missing this certain credential even though it's like so filled out, and it just becomes like such a waste of time. Like Virgos can waste so much time obsessing about things, and then it just makes it so hard for anybody else to make a mistake around them because they're so hard on themselves. So then they're so obsessed with everybody else doing things right, so then the other person feels stressed to do everything right, and if they're not perfect, and it's just a big stressful mess.
Truthfully, it's a matter of control, and you feel like the more that you know is wrong with you, the less it can get to you when someone points that out to you. So
Yeah.
it's point something out to you that
Realize.
you haven't pinned down first, it is earth shattering, because it's like you've done all of this preparation, and then like the one thing you didn't prepare for sweeps you off your feet.
Yeah. Okay. You said squares. I'm gonna pick Mercury square Neptune because I can always pinpoint whenever, not always, but I've been able to pinpoint a lot of times when a person has Mercury square Neptune specifically, like not Pisces Mercury, not anything else, but like Neptune square Mercury. I remember I pointed out in like one singer-songwriter, because I was like, what the fuck are they saying? And the words that they'll say will be like, instead of having like a bunch of lyrics, they're that kind of writer that has like 3 lines that are like this long of like lyrics, and you're just like, and it's so vague and like, but also such an average thing to write, but also like, why are you thinking about this? And it's just so hard to understand these people. Like you already are in your own world with your moon in such a tight conjunction in Neptune, both in Sagittarius, that's squaring your Mercury. It makes sense as to why like nobody understands what you're saying, and you're spewing all these things, and you just don't understand how to like form and do simple tasks. You know, and I think as a Virgo, that's so incredibly frustrating, and because it's squaring your Virgo Mercury, so you're like trying really hard to make sense and come across very clean, but yet you can't help but just like add all this other stuff. But it's all confusing because it's not like this is Pisces influenced, in the sense that, I'm sorry, it's not like this the signs are in Pisces, like it's in Virgo and Sagittarius, which square Pisces. So it's not like you're writing this poetry or you're using this descriptive blah blah blah. It just like it just isn't making any sense, I think.
And it can be hard as well for like you to just understand.
Yeah, what people are saying even.
You know what's funny is that I always forget that Mercury also is just like the way that you think. In fact, yesterday I pulled my daily oracle cards, and for outcome of the day, I got adjustments are required, third quarter moon from the Moonology deck, and then I got Mercury from, I forget what the name of the deck is, but Mercury. Pretty self-explanatory. And I'm like, perfect. Adjustments are required in the way that I communicate. So yesterday I was like so focused. I was like to my boyfriend, I was like, I love you so much. You're perfect. This is how I feel, and this is how, and you don't have to feel this way. Blah 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 blah. And then I was like, I feel like I'm just kind of like doing it right. I don't know what the adjustments are required. This is like doing fine. And then today I was like, it's the way I think. way I think needs adjustments, not the way I communicate. So with that was a big long story about myself, just to tell that it's the way that you think that is also just getting clouded and like, what? I don't understand like the reality of situation and like
yeah. You want to think so big, you have such a big imagination that it's like hard to communicate with the very like streamlined, logical way of thinking that Virgo does. And I think it might also have to do with that whole like I trust the universe or like it'll all be okay mentality, and then that Mercury and Virgo being like it's not gonna be okay, you know, and just fighting that. We have 18 seconds left.
Ooh, well, we've got Sun square Uranus, or we've got
I did Sun square Uranus.
Huh? Oh, you did.
Yeah.
So we only have Venus square Mars, or Mars square Saturn.
Well, I don't know. Like Venus square Mars is very draggable because it just makes you awkward and clunky. Like I hurt myself a lot and hurt other people on accident a lot. Like I don't know where my limbs are being thrown, and like if you like Mars in Scorpio is very graceful because it's a water Mars, but yet adding in that Leo, it's like it can be graceful, but yet like you feel the grace within you, right? But then when it's communicating to the world, it just comes up, I feel like awkward, clunky, don't, you know?
Yeah, also sucks to be in a relationship with you knowing that you'll never fully satisfy your Venus and your Mars.
Yeah. You're always gonna have to, what's that word? Compromise with one of them.
Yeah, so it can be like, oh, well, I feel like you're not attracted to me, or I feel like you're never gonna go public with me, especially Venus and Leo.
Yes. Also, it can be like you might just pick people that you find attractive, but everybody you find attractive then is like very bad sexual chemistry with you. Not everybody, but like you just keep on being involved with people that have bad sexual chemistry with you because you pick from your Venus, because you're Venus led with that Venus and Leo first house, and you're like, oh, this is the wrong way to go. But
yeah, society says that I should just love blondes with big tits. So that's what I'll go after. Oh, look, we don't get along.
Shocking that we don't have more chemistry. But yes, so that is your Drag Me reading, Matthias.
Yes, thank you so much for your consistent support.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember that you wrote in the notes of this, I want you to make me cry. Hope that we didn't. I hope that we did make you cry, because that's technically what you wanted. Hope you got your money's worth, essentially. That's what I'm saying. But I hope that this was all good fun.
Yes. Our next drag is Haley, correct?
Yes. So whenever you're here, make yourself known in the chat.
Is Haley going by a different name?
Oh, is she?
I don't know, because I thought I put them all in, but I don't.
No, Haley is Haley.
Okay, then I guess I just somehow missed it.
Haley is the order before Matthias.
What number?
She is number 219.
Okay, I guess I somehow missed that one. I'm sorry. Give me 2 seconds. I have them way past it, so I don't know what I did. But we have a few minutes before, right? Oh no, we're running late actually.
No, we have a few minutes before. She starts at 1:50.
Oh, okay. That's what I thought. I was watching Alyssa Sharp's video about numerology, like basic numerology, because I know nothing about it, that she just recently uploaded. And did you know there was like cafeastrology.com/numerology too? It like gives you like all your numbers.
Yeah, I've gone on tons of numerology websites and stuff.
I'm sure. Well, if you didn't know, now you know, people, because I didn't know, and it's really handy.
In quarantine, I've been doing all the things. I know my Enneagram.
Oh, what's your Enneagram?
I'm a type 2, which is quite
the helper, right?
Yeah. Basically, just like you're a Cancer rising.
You know what's funny is when I read that, I was like, I feel like that's Nina's type.
Yeah, and I've been going on like because the reason that I take these tests is because I like watching the little skits on YouTube.
Me too.
the Enneagram types, blah, 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 doing this, like at Starbucks, in quarantine, all of these things. And I was watching this channel that had them, and I was like, oh, Enneagram, let me take that test. I'm like, okay, cool, I'm a 2. And in every single bit that they do with 2, they have the 2 have a Canadian accent.
That makes sense, honestly. That's so funny. I also felt like Greta has some 2 in her, because that's been a lot of her vibe. She's like, do you want me to make you cinnamon rolls this morning? And then like, I'm making gifts for my friends, and like, it's so sweet. Hold on, let me pull this up.
I'm only a 2W1.
That makes sense. I have some 1 in me as well, which is definitely like our 6th house energy.
Yeah, 1 just seems like Virgo.
Yeah.
Seems like Cancer.
I'm like 8 and 5.
In
Enneagram, but I forget what they are now. Yeah. I think 8 is like literally just sounds like it's a Capricorn, like it's 8 in numerology kind of situation.
9 just sounds like Libra, but a little lazier.
Oh my God, 4, the romantic one, is just like everybody at Ada. Okay, I got the chart. Oh, there's one are you watching the Frank Jane skits that we like? Watch? Yeah, there's one, I don't remember which one it is, but it's always so obviously Dan. Like, it's the one that's always like, are you watching me? Are you
Yeah.
Okay.
The first one that I watched of his was like the personality types on a coffee date or something, and the first one that he did was ENFJ, and it was just like so a stereotype of me.
Yeah.
He was like, let's hold hands and breathe into our 4th chakra. Okay, let's get right into it because it is 1:50. Hello, Haley. Welcome to your Drag Me reading. I'm on your order. Let me get to your actual charts that I have pulled up. Your birthday's coming up, sort of. You're a Gemini.
Ooh, we got another 7th house sun.
Yeah, we always have some kind of like link to these people. You have an intercepted. Wait, hold on. We have different birth times. You don't have intercepted anything, and here you don't have a 7th house sun.
Wait, what's the time? Oh, you're 6:05 as well.
Yeah, I put it in 16:05. That's my bad.
We got 2 6:05s and you put them both in wrong. That's so funny. And
what's funny is that I remember putting in your 6:05 and being like, oh, the other person was 6:05. Literally didn't even put in 6:05.
That's so funny.
My bad.
And you guys both have grand trines with your rising. Anyways, enough with that. 8th house Venus is okay. Let's see here. What's a draggable? Oh, Mercury and Gemini in the 8th house. What a little evil trickster placement. Gemini Mercury is already so mischievous, and Scorpio risings are mischievous in nature. And then you add it in the 8th house. I had a neighbor that it was a Sagittarius Mercury. So I don't know, but she has a Mercury in her 8th house. And I think she's like a Gemini rising. I don't remember what it was, but she has this similar energy. And she was so mean, but only with her words. Like, she was such a bully, but she was such a bully in the way that she'd make everyone laugh, you know? Like, it was always so funny, and it was genuinely funny. And so, like, if my Cancer rising got butthurt, it would be like, why am I getting butthurt? Because this person doesn't mean much by it. They're not like putting much stress on this. They don't even seem serious, even though I know their underlying thing is like, this really is they're being genuine, but they're writing a joke and everybody's laughing. It's so clever. It's so cunning. It's so just like the ultimate underhanded bully, you know? Not that you're like, I'm not saying like you're this mean-spirited poor person, you have a 7th house sun, but like you are that person that it's like that Scorpio rising where it's like the way you get back at people is through your words, by what you say about them, by just like you are so smart and cunning in your mind. I don't trust you.
No, the scariest thing about people with Mercury in the 8th house is like, I feel that I can read people quite well, and I'm very intuitive, and I use my powers for good. I'm like, how you feel. I'm an Enneagram 2. I'm the helper. But I don't necessarily like to be seen in the same way that I can like see people. And so it is extremely intimidating to me when I come across someone with like this 8th house type of like, especially Mercury, because it's just like, I don't want you to like
see me like that
in that way, and I don't want you to remember the things that I say. I don't want you to like hold these things against me. I like the power of like being the person who remembers everything and being able, and I use my powers for good again, and I just never know when someone's going to use their powers for evil.
Yeah, no, you really can hang up on everything everybody says. And that's just something about like Scorpio rising and your 8th house energy in general, especially with it ruled by Gemini and then a Gemini planet in there. It's just like, listen, sometimes things people say aren't that serious. Sometimes people say shit. Sometimes I hear myself say something and go, that's crazy. I was thinking the exact opposite, but for some reason, my mouth said this, and y'all will hang on to it. Y'all won't tell anybody that you're hanging on to it. You won't be like, remember when you said this? You'll just subtly hang on to it, and you won't say why, and you'll let it build up, and it's confusing, and it's stressful, and it's just like, just let things, sometimes in one ear, out the other,
Yeah, and that's a Shaina perspective, because I can tell that he's like, when people are being like stupid and taking things too seriously from my perspective, and I was like, serious, it's super annoying. But from the you perspective, oh my God, does it hurt like hell when you feel so hurt by a situation over some words of what someone said and this, that, and the other, and they're just telling you like, get over it. It doesn't mean that much. Like, it's so hurtful. And haha, true, I have a butthurt selective memory. Yeah, and that's like super, super annoying to like deal with yourself on the inside of like, oh, this thing that happened 15 years ago that hurt my feelings still does. How does the person who said that feel? Can't remember. They don't remember saying that. How does it affect you? It permanently scarred for life. You raised your hand in class and your teacher was like, not now, Haley, okay? And you were like, how dare she? It's affected all of my social anxiety for my entire life.
You know what I've also realized about like Scorpio, some Scorpio energy or 8th house energy is like, every experience for them feels like they're they treat it as though they're the first person to experience that, and they're the only person to experience it. Does that make sense? Like, because it has that nature of like, you go through a lot more than most people do, and that is valid in a lot of situations. But they can then, have that, you have one mentality, and then you can put it towards everything. And like, that's something that I've noticed about like Scorpio 8th house energy is like, and having intercepted Scorpio, I've always had that thought of like, everybody's gone through whatever it is I'm going through, and everybody's dealt with worse. And that can be bad because that can be invalidating, and Scorpio can be good because it's very validating. But after a while, it's just like, that's just stuff that you go through as a person. And Scorpio can have trouble with that. It has trouble with like just going through the stuff that you go through as a person, because it feels everything so extremely, but also doesn't understand that some people also feel it just as extremely. I don't know. It can be I can get to be this like weird hierarchy thing,
Yeah, sometimes you feel it younger, or sometimes you just feel very alone. And and it's not like something that is very shared around the world of like, hey, especially like you're even older than us, especially people our age. Like when we were in high school, mental health didn't have the same awareness that it has nowadays. And right now people are just advocating for the awareness. There's still not necessarily that awareness, but when we were younger, when we were in high school, when you were in high school, none of that conversation was going on. So everyone that was going through what you were going through was going through it alone. So you felt I'm the only person going through this, and
because it's not talked about. And that's the whole point of Scorpio, is that it's like those things that aren't spoken about. You said, oh my God, I still have grudges against elementary school teachers for dumb shit. Reminds me of somebody I know, Nina. No, but that also makes me think of, I had a friend in high school with some Scorpio. She's a friend. My friend in high school with Scorpio energy, like if somebody said something about her, because we weren't like super well received by any means, right? And it's something like my freshman year, I was super, super duper not well received because I sucked, right? And I am shocked I was able to show my face in school after all the dumb shit that came out of my mouth and all the dumb stuff I said freshman year, right? And people said way worse stuff to me. People were like not bullying because I was the stupid one, right? But they were just mean and outright about it. And it was embarrassing. And if somebody said anything to my friend, like one time somebody was like, who was a close friend, was like, she heard that somebody called her a scum and she never let it go. She lost like a whole friendship from it. And I'm like, if I let that get me down, I don't know how I would be able to go on with life if something like that affects me so much. But it does, it can like affect Scorpio so much. And I don't know, that was just a long rant, but I don't know. Sometimes I'm just like, breathe, Scorpio, this is a drag, so breathe, it's okay, you know?
I know, it is quite intense. And Saturn in Pisces is another thing. Like what I was talking about with like what you went through in high school, or just kind of like the social atmosphere of like it's different now, bringing awareness to mental health, and that was definitely not going on when you were like growing up. That's totally Pluto and Scorpio. But not only does your generation have Pluto and Scorpio, you have Saturn and Pisces. Mm-hmm. Which is, and Neptune in Capricorn. Yours is also retrograde. There's this whole dynamic of just like, I feel so alone. I don't know how to pick myself up, how to adult.
And with Aquarius 4th house too.
Yeah. And just like Pluto is in your first, Scorpio rising, 8th house planets, 7th house also, sun, of just like everything is quite intense.
I want to roost with Capricorn in the 3rd house and Neptune and Uranus in Capricorn in the 3rd house. I have a roommate with a pretty similar chart to you, honestly, and ish, like the generational stuff, because he's Scorpio rising. But it's crazy how this combination can make someone so smart yet so incapable to do everyday things. Like every email that he writes, I have to check, because that like Neptune Uranus is just like, oh, it like understands, especially in Capricorn, like it only understands like phonetic spelling. It wants to spell everything exactly how it sounds, which makes sense, because that makes sense. It's Capricorn in the 3rd house. But then like Neptune will distort, so you might have some like dyslexia going on. And so it's like you can come up with these, like your brain is insane. Like you can come up with new ways of doing things, very innovative, very creative, very expansive, very like you can teach yourself your own way. Like my roommate can do that thing where he can sleep and like take in information on the TV, whatever that is, and just like has such a well for knowledge. But yet like you're like, hey, can you write your name? And you're like so it's just so funny to see the translation of being so smart in some things and so just like not able to handle the everydayness of life, you know, the things that come up. Yeah, also let's see here, what else do you have? Let's talk about a more,
I want to talk about your Mars in the 6th house, because I kind of had an epiphany.
Yes,
because we were actually talking about in our Q&A about veganism and astrology, and how the 6th house rules small animals, pets, farm animals. And consistently throughout my life, people with Mars in the 6th house are the most resistant to eating vegan food.
So right. I just thought about like 3 different examples.
Right?
Oh my God.
It's like that Mars, that destruction of small animals. And these people are just so close-minded to not eating meat. It's like, and it's people that you wouldn't expect. It's like, oh, this cute LA girl who likes smoothies and blah blah blah. She's like, I'll never be vegan, and I hate that you are. You know, it's just consistently, you guys are the most resistant to just like not including suffering in your diet.
You're vegetarian.
You're vegetarian? That's crazy. Because like, so I've just like come up with this.
You do have a Sagittarius moon, but
yeah, Sagittarius moon. Sagittarius is some energy that is like, let's save the fucking world.
What I will say about Mars in 6th house in Taurus is like, you you want to be the boss, right? You 6th house in Aries, you want to be the boss. And in your mind, being the boss is they don't do anything. That's why you want to be the boss, because they can sit up on their big chair and just give orders. Mars and Taurus. They can eat whenever they want. They can do whatever they want. They can like be really lazy, and you want to just like give your tasks to other people. You want to be like, this is like because you have that like very creative mind, and you have all that Gemini mercurial energy. So you're like, I have all these ideas, I have all this stuff that I want to do, but I don't want to do it. I want to give other people I want to be their leader, and I want to give other people these jobs, and I want them to come back to me, and I want to sit on my comfy chair and go, yes, no, now somebody feed me. And so I feel like you just have a lot of trouble. But at the same time, with your 6th house in Aries, you want to work alone, which is why you want to be the leader. You don't want like somebody else's input to be above yours, you know, because you're like, I know what I want to do here. So you can just be like very hard to work with.
And you can find it really hard to work with other people.
Yeah, for sure. Especially with the Leo midheaven, you're like, I want to be the star of my own show. I better be the star of my own show. With the Leo midheaven, you just like want to be bigger than anybody else you're around and like outshine them almost.
Yeah, what's funny about Scorpio risings with Leo midheavens, especially with Pluto in the 1st house, is that you have such this personality that is demanding and really magnetic and all these things, that when it translates to your 10th house, obviously you find the confidence to also put on a show and be that center of attention as your Leo midheaven. But what that also means for you is this unexpected sense of social anxiety, of feeling like you are so important.
Yeah.
If someone isn't paying attention to every single move you make, it means that they hate you.
Yeah. That's crazy. Oh, sorry, go on.
No attention, it must mean that they hate you. And you need constant attention, constant affirmation, constant respect. If anyone does like an accidental form of like disrespect, like they didn't hear you when you said something, then it is so much more of a big deal than us Cancer risings, Pisces.
Because we're like,
oh,
we're gonna be heard.
No one knows that we exist.
Yeah.
So, the opposite for you, you're like, I am the center of attention, but sometimes it's like this insecure, like, I am the center of attention, so if I'm not being paid attention to you, to people hate me. And you also hear all the time of like Scorpio risings being that kind of like bringing out that love or hate kind of attitude out in people. Yeah, I usually toward avoiding communication with people I'm working on a task with. I'm usually not the first to check in.
Yeah, the more I look at your chart, the more I'm seeing like these small details that are similar to my roommate, like with asteroids and stuff. It's really funny. What I will roast about a 1st house North Node is that you know how to do everything except for be you, which to everybody else is the easiest thing. That's what we all innately can do, is be our rising, for better or for worse. And so when you have like North Node in the 1st house, and you can do everything, not, you know what I mean, everything, like you know, but you don't understand how to be yourself, it can feel like you are at so behind everybody else, yet in reality you're so ahead of everyone else, because all you have to do is exist to fulfill your North Node, yet you feel as though like it's an impossible feat. And because of this, to roast your 7th house South Node, it's like you don't because you also have a 7th house sun. You're definitely, I feel like, the typical 7th house sun person that goes from relationship to relationship. You have Venus and Cancer in the 8th house. You love your long-term relationships, like 3-year stint, 2-year stint, and with that South Node in the 7th house in Taurus, you can be so dependent on other people, or just like don't know how to take care of yourself. Or even with the first house North Node, is you don't know how to find motivation without somebody else. Like that other person has to give you motivation, or like, yeah.
Yeah, the first house North Node adds to your social anxiety.
Yeah.
First of all, it's your discomfort zones. It's like, I don't want to be seen. I don't want anyone to see me, but also you're being pushed to that. So it's like, I don't want to be seen. I don't want anyone else to see me, but I'm constantly obsessing of like what other people.
Yeah. And then your 12th house, Juno and Libra, you're going to pretend that every shitty relationship, because obviously you've been in some shitty relationships, you have an 8th house Venus, and you have a 7th house sun. All of your shitty relationships, you're always going to pretend they're not shitty. You're always going to see them as, you're going to try to show them as so good and so fine. And also your 12th house Juno can collaborate with your 7th house South Node in making you dependent on your relationship and the dependent person. Because if you have a 12th house Juno, either you or somebody else might have to be taken care of in a relationship.
And there's also like this Stockholm syndrome even after getting out of the thing.
That's so true.
Getting out of your relationship. It's like on one day you're like, this person sucks. They were so awful to me. They did this, that, and the other. And I can't believe that I was with them for so long. The next day you're like listening to the album that you both fell in love listening to. You both had your first make out sesh to. And you're like, oh my God, what did I ever do?
I don't know what exactly it is about Scorpio risings, but I've noticed in Scorpio risings that they have a really bad case of seeing the past, even more than I think a Cancer rising sometimes, with a hazel, whatever hazel eyes, with like rose tinted glasses. Like they'll be so miserable in the moment that it's going on, and they'll just like share their misery, or just like they'll just be miserable, and then they'll look back at the time and always think about how much better it was, like to the point where it's like very drastic. I've noticed with some Scorpio risings, and they like won't see, I don't know what that is. This is kind of off.
Because for Scorpio risings, the present always sucks.
Yeah.
And with like some detachment from
the problems.
From the problem, it's like, well, the past sucks less than the present does now.
Yeah. But did it? Did it Scorpio rising?
Clinging to like that safety blanket of like depression.
You already know what's happened, so you already know what's ahead in the past.
Yeah, I don't know. Very true. Very, very true.
But on that note,
yeah, that's the lovely note. Actually, I have a better lovely note to leave on. We've been hovering around 16.9 thousand for a while, and now I just saw that we have 17,000.
Oh, yay!
So yay. And someone in the period of us doing this live drag me, someone named Scott has bought his, I hope that it's live because I just put him on blast. Maybe it's not live, maybe it's private.
Yeah, we've still got a few drag me's left during this rest of the month because they're $10 off. We should have said that at the beginning. We're running a drag me sale, $10 off drag me's. So if you want one, we've still got, I think, 3 more left.
Yeah, actually we have 1 left because we just sold 2 during this.
No, I know. So we have 3 left.
Oh, we have 3 left? I don't know what the hell our stock is.
At least last I checked. I might be wrong. We have a few left. No matter. We at least have 1, okay?
Yeah,
anyway.
So while they're hot and still there, because the sale will be over at the end of April. It was an April Fool's sale.
Yeah.
But a holiday that many corporations take advantage of.
Yeah, and then it turned into a coronavirus sale because it worked out for us to do more live drag me's. So we actually planned really well for this coronavirus. Our Pisces midheavens were like, we need to pre-film and do a drag me sale.
Yeah, believe it or not. Yeah. I know that here in LA, it's until May 18th or shelter in place order has been extended to. So I don't know when we'll all get back on our feet.
This is random, but Haley, okay, so you have Aquarius in your 4th house, Saturn and Pisces in your 4th house, and I was just having a conversation with my roommate who has Aquarius in the 4th house, Saturn in the 4th house, and he came outside and he was like, I do not miss outside at all. And he's like, have you heard me say once that I want to take a walk? Have you heard me say once that I want to leave? I love this. I never want to go outside again. And I feel like you have that energy too, especially adding in from the Aquarius Saturn to the Pisces Saturn, the like not wanting to do anything. I mean, I don't know what your situation is. You might not have the privilege of just getting to stay home right now, so this could be totally wrong, but I feel like you love the idea of staying home and not seeing anybody.
At the same time, like Taurus energy is like literally going outside and being like, it's springtime. I'm gonna literally stop and smell the roses.
That's true, and you can go outside, you can take a walk though, you know, not many people on the street, it's quieter.
Yeah, I'm spoiled on my bike nowadays.
Oh,
like it's never gonna be this nice to ride my bike ever.
That's so true. You said, ha ha ha, I'm not struggling nearly as much as some people, but I know it's not good for me. That makes sense. You know, I mean, you can be enjoying something else that's good for you as well. Not that you're enjoying it, but yeah.
Well, hey, the North Node in the sky is in Cancer until May 5th, so soak up this staying at home energy. It's what we're all supposed to be doing right now.
You said the Gemini in me is feeling stuck in a rut. That makes major sense. I feel like, especially with this Venus and Gemini retrograde energy, everybody's going to start really feeling that once it happens, of just being like, okay, we've gotten enough. You know, not that people aren't already protesting and being ridiculous, but
yeah, but I feel like 7th house people are also just like, if we're in relationships or quarantining with people, we're just like, yay.
Yeah, for sure. Just like the 1 or 2 people I'm seeing.
Yeah. Or just like, this is all time for my relationship.
Exactly. What I want to do. Anyways, okay. That's it. I don't have anything else to say. I don't know if Nina does.
I do not. I need to figure out, how did I do this last time to just, do I end the meeting? Do I end the live stream? Stop live stream. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, everyone, say your final goodbyes because out we go. Bye.
Have fun. Have a good rest of your day.